Mario is one of, if not the most iconic video game character of all time, and I think one of the main reasons for this is because generally speaking, his games are marketed towards such a broad audience of people. That said, anyone can pick up and play a Mario game. And it's also worth mentioning that most of these games are pretty good, with a few minor exceptions. Nevertheless, whether they're good or bad, Mario games are meant for everyone. Anyone can pick up and play these games, and that's really because that Mario is centered around a family-friendly base. Mario is meant to be for everyone because that's how Nintendo wants him to be. And yet, despite Mario's family-friendly nature and happy-go-lucky attitude, somehow there are some very interesting undertones that still manage to slip into these games, and some of them are actually just blatantly obvious. These are just a few times where the Mario franchise was not so family-friendly.
But it's me, Mario!
Yeah, tell it to the judge.
To begin our quest in finding moments where the Mario series wasn't so for everyone, I want to take a look back at 1992 with the game Super Mario Kart. Now you may be wondering, what could be so inappropriate in a racing game, much less a Mario racing game, that would kind of be deemed not so family friendly? To which I would reply, it depends on which version you're playing. Allow me to further elaborate. When you play a Grand Prix as either King Bowser or Princess Peach, you will notice that when you win, you get kind of a different result between the international version and the Japanese version. The victory animations for both King Bowser and Princess Peach feature the two characters drinking a bottle of champagne. Although I don't know if you can necessarily call what Bowser's doing drinking, more so chugging. However, the international version has somewhat of a different result. With Bowser, you can still see him holding the champagne glass as he celebrates his victory, though he's not drinking it. And same thing goes for Peach, where she just kind of throws it up in the air over and over again. These changes had to happen because at the time, Nintendo of America's policies on drinking in video games was pretty strict, so these changes were kept for the European versions and also the American release. Although it does kind of beg the question, if you can't depict drinking in video games, why can you still display the champagne bottle in the first place? I mean, it seems like it'd be more plausible to just get rid of it rather than to keep it there. But what do I know? I'm not a game designer. But anyway, the trend of drinking in Mario games and even getting drunk in the first place carried over to the year 1998 in Wario Land 2. And before I hear anyone in the comment section saying Wario Land 2 is not a Mario game, I do want to point out and say that Wario Land 1's full title is Wario Land Super Mario Land 3. So technically speaking, Wario Land 2 is Super Mario Land 4. But even still, at the very least, Wario Land is a spin-off of the Mario Land series. And just like the game we just talked about, Super Mario Kart, this game also features Wario getting drunk, like Bowser and Princess Peach. And also, much like Super Mario Kart, Wario Land 2 also had two different versions, one being a censored international one, and one being only for Japan. Nevertheless, both versions actually featured a very similar concept in which Wario would get hit by an item, and he would become very dizzy and hard to control. Not to mention his attacks also changed. When Wario gets hit by this item, all of a sudden he gains a new move where he can belch into enemies' faces. In the international versions, it's generally stated that this version of Wario is known as Crazy Wario. However, in the Japanese version, it seems that his name is known as Drunk Wario. The Japanese version is actually more specific as the item that Wario gets hit by is not the same as the international version. Like I said before, Wario has to get hit by a special item in order to turn into Crazy or Drunk Wario, and in the Japanese version, he gets hit by a beer mug, and in the English international version, well, it's actually instead just a ball. The effect of Crazy or Drunk Wario will also wear off if he's actually damaged or hit by water in any capacity. In other words, this is Wario's way of sobering up, and this actually still managed to make it in both the international and Japanese versions. The overall concept of Drunk or Crazy Wario also managed to make its way into Wario Land 3, so clearly Nintendo liked it enough for it to stay. But I think that's enough about Wario. Now let's move on to someone who actually is seen as somewhat of his close friend, but we're not really sure, Waluigi. And he did some pretty inane stuff on the soccer field in Mario Strikers. I'm sure you all know where I'm going with this at this point. In both Mario Strikers and Mario Strikers Charged, if Waluigi scores a goal, he will thrust his pelvis and make a chop with both of his hands. And as you can see here, this is the gesture. Mike Englehart, the director of the Mario Strikers game, actually had an interview with GameXplain explaining the whole purpose of what this was actually supposed to represent. In this interview, Englehart mentioned that this gesture is actually supposed to be Waluigi making a W with his hands, although I can't be the only one saying that it doesn't quite look like that's what's going on here.
Well, the inspiration for that came from, quite frankly, like the shape. Even though it's a V, we thought it was a representation of part of the W, so that's right. Sort of his way of connecting into his first initial.
Yeah, sorry Mike, I'm not buying it. But anyway, I've talked about a lot of characters in this video. You know, Princess Peach, Lord Bowser, Wario, Waluigi, but I haven't even talked about the main character of this franchise yet, Mario. Surely Nintendo's golden boy, the leader of the company, has never done anything inappropriate that would warrant me putting it in this video. No, sir, there's no possible way. Well, actually, there is a couple things Mario has done that aren't so family friendly. And firstly, let's take a look back at Super Mario RPG. In this RPG game, you can go inside of Princess Peach's room, or I guess at this time, Toadstool's room. And as Mario, you can kind of snoop around and see what's going on in here. And if you look between a blue chair and a fireplace, you could find Princess Toadstool's question mark. The game kind of leaves it ambiguous as to what the item is, but if you find it early in the game, Princess Toadstool's grandma will rush over to Mario and give him a mushroom to forget what he has seen. Or if you find it later in the game, Princess Toadstool will scold Mario for looking through her things. Even though we're never given proper information as to what this item is, we can still kind of infer that it's probably something not meant for the young eyes of children. However, there are a couple things left a little less ambiguous in the Nintendo series regarding Mario being a little less family friendly. And it's actually left in this official piece of Nintendo merchandise titled Mario's Fantastic World Picture Book. This picture book came included with a vinyl for the Super Mario Bros. The Great Mission to Rescue Princess Peach movie, an anime film released in 1986. However, the film was only released in Japan. Anyway, Mario's World Picture Book included characters from the movie with their, of course, in-character designs from the film, and had them in different scenarios that may have been featured in the movie. And they were saying things that may not be appropriate for younger audiences. Although it may appear that these Mario characters are so, I guess, out of character, it may not have always been that way. In an interview with Miyamoto in 1999, he said, "I created Mario when I was 27 years old. At that point in time, he was in no way something I would feel embarrassed about. I mean, he was already this older guy like your uncle or something. It was meant to be the kind of game that 18-year-old guys would be able to play together and enjoy. So I felt this disconnect when he started being forced into this more elementary school focused, narrowed role. Hopefully that better explains what was happening with these Mario characters during that time period. Nowadays the Mario franchise doesn't really do a whole lot of stuff like this anymore. However, it is still important to note that it is still for everyone. Anyone and everyone are allowed to play Mario games and still find fun in them. At least that's what I think. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below, what is your thoughts on this whole idea of Mario being not so family friendly? Do you have a favorite moment? Let me know in the comment section down below, and of course if there's something I missed, add that as well. Also, while you're at it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe on this video, and also don't forget to turn on the post notifications bell, that way you never miss an upload from me. You don't want to miss out. One final thing before I go here is I want to take the time to shout out some of my legendary channel members. Thank you all again for supporting me and creating the best possible content that I can make. Videos like these would not be possible without you, and I praise the Lord every day for amazing people like you guys. Y'all are truly the best. If you're interested in becoming a member of my channel, there'll be a link in the description down below. But anyway, thank you all again so much for watching. This is Sonicsta signing out. Have a super blessed day, y'all.
Why are you playing that trash?